Hello there and welcome to the finals of the US Amateur.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the final of the 2023 USCTA Amateur Open Singles. It's best of 5 6-game sets. Rob Shenkman to serve, Freddie Bristowe to receive. Love all. Fault.
Are we on here? Welcome to Westwood. I hope everybody's having a good Sunday morning. It's going to be some great tennis here. Bill Barker at the moment on the mic. Expect I'll be joined by Noah Moats, Peter Cipriano, or somebody else. A few of us were together last night after all the matches were played, making some predictions on this one, and everybody had it going 4 or 5 sets. So I think we are expecting a lot of close tennis here. These guys can both get almost everything. He's got a few more weapons, I would say, in terms of finishing points, but also more prone to making mistakes in the process. Rob's as steady as it gets and gets to everything. Just put one away there, making me look foolish, but he is going to, I think, find the targets frequently. Hit a lot of grills when I was on the court yesterday with him in the doubles, and they're not going to be overhit. So I think that the targeting is likely to be very precise by Rob. It's Hazard, the back wall on the receiver side does create hazards quite a bit here. It's still a little bouncy, new court, and walls were very bouncy back in October when the court first opened. Play has sort of smoothed out some of the roughness of the court. It's still grippy. Main wall, ball comes out quite a bit wider than it may in the future, and than it does in a lot of other places. You may see the players struggle with that angle at times, but they've been on the court enough now this weekend that I don't think that's going to be a big feature.
15-40.
Mistakes we talk about with Freddie. Plays a more of a bigger risk, bigger rewards style than Rob, and when it's on, it's great to watch.
15 left.
Also, I would say, in my experience of watching Freddie, which involves quite a few times when he's beaten my son, that his best tennis is not usually in the first couple of games. He can come out a little slow. Not just against Eric, but some other players. That's in part, I think, because of usually he's on the court with somebody he has a lot of reason to believe he's going to beat. That's not the case today. He's not going to come out unfocused at the beginning here. So I think that I don't expect Freddie to get off to a slow start.
Receiver leads nearly a yard worse than last gallery. Fault.
Freddie's going to hit a lot of railroads. He's got in my opinion, a very good railroad, and this is a good court for railroads. So we'll see if it's effective against Rob. I know that watching a match, I can't remember what event it was, maybe the the league stuff. And world champion Cam Riera was saying that he thought that the railroad was a weakness of Freddie's, that his service was not one of his strengths. And it may be the case that pros just better at playing those railroads, but against most amateurs, Freddie's railroad is a significant weapon. That's not to say that Rob is most amateurs. I don't know where he ranks in the amateur game, 2 or 3 in the world, I guess. It's brought his handicap down into the plus column, which is a great achievement in this game. And I think he may be behind Kieran Booth RTO. Certainly not too many that he's behind.
Has it better than a yard? 30-40.
Freddie didn't quite get what he wanted out of that backhand, but it's a delight to watch Freddie hit backhands. I don't even think there is any pro that I enjoy the form of off the backhand the way I do watching Freddie.
30-40.
And he can hit.
Has it better
He can
than a
hit
yard?
drills from the
Has it chase?
deep corners cross court with pace. When he really gets going, it's I expect we'll see him hitting a couple in a row at some point over potentially 5 sets. Good force there.
Game receiver, 1 game all.
1 all. Bit of luck on that. Didn't sound clean, but that take out a camera, Ryan? Maybe that's what I heard. Ryan's left the broadcast booth to go investigate and or fix the camera that Freddie just put a hurting on.
30-15.
Great shot.
40-15. Vote.
Rob's going to be disappointed in that one. Wasn't one of Freddie's more electric returns, but you know, steady as Rob is, not going to hit everyone.
Down worse than a yard. 30-40.
That was good cut. You'll get some good action off the back wall here. If you put cut on, you get a good true take off the back wall. It's not, I would say, not severe by any means, but you get rewards for a good cut shot into the back. you just don't want to be too wide, catch the main wall on your return, because it really will come out into the middle of the court still. And these guys have got the footwork to not get caught up too much by a wide return. I'm sure they'll be very happy if they're seeing the ball come off the main wall and not burying in the back corner the way it more often is, the way these guys return. It's a good try. Looks like one of today's doubles finalists, young Eric Barker, has entered the studio. Hasn't done any commentary as of yet, but the first time for everything.
That's just a terrific shot, Freddie. He's going to be hitting those targets all day. If Rob keeps it loose, it's going to be a long, long match for him.
Chase the first gallery.
That was quick work by Eric. He came, he saw, he gave one compliment about a good shot, and now he's left. Hope we see him back here. He's got some match prep to do for the doubles final. Eric and Noah Moats prevailed over Freddie and Henry last night in the semifinal. Mild upset. 3 seeds over the 2 seeds. And Rob out there right now, this is best 3 out of 5 sets. And the U.S. Amateur is a tough tournament on the final day for the better players, because more often than not, you've got the same guys in the finals of the singles and the finals of the doubles. This year, Rob is in that position. Both are best 3 out of 5. So in evenly matched situations, that's a potential 10 sets of extremely high level tennis. We'll see if that's the case or not today. Last year, Rob won both titles. He's defending champ in singles, and with his partner Peter Cipriano, defending champ in doubles. He's the #1 seed in both draws. He's also the defending champ in the British Amateur as well. Is that right, Noah? Noah Moats is now joined.
I believe so. Rob's the defending champ now of the British Amateur. Ryan just asked if there's an amateur Grand Slam. I mean, there must be.
Deuce. Advantage server.
I think you've been on this court more than anybody now, Noah, or anybody at this level of the game. There are some very enthusiastic members that have spent a lot of time on the court since it opened in October. Not necessarily people that are going to threaten for a U.S. Amateur, but very enthusiastic members of the club. So I'm not sure you had the most hours, but now that it's had several months, what's your feeling, and what do you think it means for these two guys in their games? You've played Freddie plenty of times, including last night in a great semifinal. I don't know what your history is against Rob, but some Van Allen stuff. Yeah, how do you think the court is going to factor into today's match?
I think it's a pretty quick court. It could be a bit violent with cut. So I guess that favors Freddie's game a bit more.
30-15.
If you can go for harder hitting, that can help. But surely Shenkman's gonna be okay. I think, as well. He's definitely got the upper hand handicap-wise, so it's hard to say that Freddie will be the favorite. But yeah, I think the court is pretty reliable. So it's much better than what we had before in DC with the glass wall, and the penthouse is pretty similar to what we had, I think, at the old court. Would you agree, Bill? It's pretty slippery. You can't get much grip. Obviously, the color is completely different, but as far as serving and how the bounces go, I think it's relatively similar. Although Ryan's looking at me as if I've said the wrong thing, so I could be wrong.
You know, I have not had the problem with the color of the roof and picking balls up against that background. I know some other players have, so I'm just lucky so far in that. But it definitely is a better court for railroad than our previous court. And I think Freddie's got an awfully good railroad. So Rob plays at a level where Freddie's not going to get a whole lot of free points just off of a good railroad. That was not a good one. Rob should take care of business here. No, 2 mistakes. A lot of chances for Freddie here. God, exceptional tennis.
15 all.
What was your strategy going in playing Freddie last night? It was 6-2, 6-4. I thought it was a little closer than that, but the score's the score. He's got a great forehand. He's got a better backhand than anybody else I can think of in the amateur game, at least, and he can volley, and not just can. I mean, he's really good at all those things. So, you know, sure you got a couple pointers from some of the pros that are helping you out, giving you advice. What was your strategy?
Well, to be honest, Bill, I'm pretty much a one-trick pony, so I was kind of hoping he would serve a little bit looser and then give me some forces, but serves great. He's also, I mean, he's just a better player, so. But I'm not too upset about the loss.
You've got to be patient.
Oh, great. This is a green screen behind us. I'm stealing Ryan's joke here, but he did choose this background. Could have done anything, but we liked the storage room. Keeps us human. But yeah, didn't have a huge strategy going against Freddie. I wanted to try to control my serve a bit because Freddie can just go on tears with his return, but I did not. So, so yeah, the 6-2, 6-4 was pretty one-sided. 3-2, 40-15 could be a big game here.
Lost the chase, felt better than the door. Game server 4 games to 2.
I think you have to stick with the railroad in this court, especially against Freddie, to limit that cut volley.
15 love.
It's a great shot from Freddie. Gonna need a few more of those.
We don't have them on hand yet, but your dad was very, very important in the construction and design of this court. The Dedlands there were a few adjustments made to this court with purpose. Can you talk about that stuff at all?
Yeah, I think the biggest change that seems to be common a lot among newer courts is the choice when making the galleries. They chose to make them a little smaller to promote a more more of a floor game, so there were less galleries chipped. But the dead on was also made smaller, so it's a bit harder to hit targets from the receiving end. Which I think is fun. I think it makes for longer rallies, and especially for the viewer, people like Bill watching the pros. It's fun to watch the long rallies. So I think that they made this court with that in mind. But yeah, it does make the game a little bit different.
Well, and achieved getting the world championship here in part through the perceived success of the court design and the facility here at Westwood, and the opening back in October or November, I can't remember the exact date. A lot of the world showed up, which was great. A lot of the world's going to be back for the world championship. Oh, don't expect to see that from Rob. As said before, he's very steady, not many mistakes. Doesn't mean there aren't going to be a few, but this is going to be trouble. Oh, that was Freddie's shot, a backhand that he's fully set his feet for. I really don't like to be on the receiving end of that, but that was on target. That's just a great get from there. Oh, yes. And game 5-2.
Game 5 games to 2.
Bill, what do you think of the serve that Freddie's serving here? A bit of a demi PK. Trying to limit Rob's target hitting. I know the serve worked well against me, but obviously much worse of a returner than Shenkman is. Would you just pipe in railroads if you're Freddie?
Well, if I had Freddie's railroad, I'd rely on a lot. I tend to feature about 10 or 12 mediocre serves rather than any one that's particularly good, and just hope that the complete lack of pattern to my serving throws my opponents off rather than ever really trying to identify what's working. I think Rob's a good deal smarter than that. These guys had a match, if I'm not mistaken, in Australia. I don't know if it was the tournament or if it was the Van Allen. It was the Van Allen. And Freddie had a 5-love lead in the third, and Rob came back and won the match. And I didn't see it because they didn't have Ryan Carey on hand. Was that broadcast? I don't think it was. The Van Allen clothier back in Australia last summer. I think they got to it a little bit later, like by the tournament, but maybe not for the Van Allen, the U.S. versus England matches, the team competition. So I didn't see it, but I heard Freddie was
Has the
playing
line. Has it.
ridiculously well, as you would have to be up 5-love on Rob. Couldn't find that sixth game for whatever reason. I think the reason was Rob Shenkman, but I'm sure that's remembered by both of these players.
Last gallery.
Just missed. I think he was going for the grill there, but got the result he wanted. Yeah, that's a great set by Rob.
First set to the server, 6 games to 2. Double.
Van Allen is coming up in a couple months. Going to be here. You're coming back from Newport, where you're going to be for the next couple of months, Noah. U.S. team's excited to host, and England's got, even though they aren't going to have Rob being captain this year, he's aged out. It's under 26 competition. Any thoughts about what you're hearing about the British team and your own team?
Yeah, the British team seems pretty strong. I don't particularly love our chances, but I think there's still a chance we could pull it out. But I think we have a great team and a lot of really good guys. Henry Smith is on the team, as well as Freddie Bristowe, Eric Barker, and me. And
15:30.
I think there's a lot of talent between the other three besides me. So it could be fun. It could be a good weekend. It's nice having the home court. It always helps. So hopefully that can give us an edge. But yeah, we're grateful to not have Shenkman in that tournament anymore. So 30-all in the first game. Mistake.
If Freddie were here, I think he'd refer to it as that critical first game. He finds many games in the set. All seem to be very important, even when compared against each other. All right, that's what he needs. He needs to spend more time serving. Not much of an insight there. That's the case for all of us. But Freddie's awfully good at finding that grill. So I think he needs to find a few more of them, because Rob doesn't miss many. He's there. He gets to everything. Isn't fooled by the timbre at all. And Freddie's really got to win the points. He's not going to win this match by having Rob make mistakes, although he did make one there. But it's not enough. I mean, oh, that's nice. That's a beautiful shot. Freddie's backhand.
Yeah, it's demoralizing as as his opponent. That's a good ball. Oh, amazing hands. Great rally. I think Rob's really figuring out this court by now. Obviously, it's tough to tell with his first few matches. I don't know if he was in full form, but he definitely is here.
15 love.
see Freddie put that away.
Second gallery,
Yeah,
2
and
and
he's
second
punished
gallery,
for it.
15 love.
But I agree with you, Bill. I think he definitely needs to stay on the serving end. He's not hitting targets like he normally does, Freddie. So being on the service end will be crucial.
What did you serve, Freddie, yesterday primarily? Do you remember?
15 love. Server leads.
And you're playing Rob up next. Whichever way this one goes, Rob stays on the court, maybe gets a little break before the doubles final, so you're scouting him.
15 all. Chase second gallery.
Oh, it's nice. That's so nice.
30-15.
I mean, cut volley is just vicious, especially on this court. This one.
Has
Good
it better
lead.
than the yard. 30-15. Receiver.
Trying to get rid of that cut volley with an underarm twist. He's going to try to get this serve deep. Yeah. Oh. Unbelievable get, yeah. Down the line. Yeah.
Yes, please.
Well, we'll see if you're right here, Bill. If Freddie really does start off slow, if he can take this set. If that first set was Freddie just being a bit cold. Obviously, it's pretty early. 1 love.
Yeah, it's a pattern that I don't expect, didn't expect to see, where Fred comes out a little slow, just because maybe he knows he's capable of getting into a different gear when he needs to, and he can't do that against Rob. So I don't think that there was any lack of focus at the beginning of this match. But it also wasn't, I think, as well as Freddie's capable of playing, as well as I think he's going to be playing.
Worse than 4.
That's one of your favorite shots.
Yeah, I do like that. Although I hit it too high pretty often. Hit it out of bounds. 40-30. Freddie, yeah. Still likes that Denny PK. It's working though. I mean, it's forcing him to play a floor shot. Oh, what a get. God, that's just impressive.
Has it better than the door. 40-30.
I don't know, 5 or 6 times if I were on the court with him. Great gets by Rob. He had the shot he wanted, and it's a hazard though. Still like Freddie's chances to pull this game out. Yeah, do not let Freddie hit a cut volley or force. Don't let him hit a backhand. Oh, bit of a bad read by Freddie, or bounce that he didn't see coming. This is trouble. Post. Oh.
30 love.
All right. Freddie needs to get back. I don't know. Do we have any questions out there? I'm not looking at a feed that shows that. We'll start begging for questions and comments as soon as we figure out how to see where they are.
40 love.
Just entranced by Ryan's video displays here. A little break on the court. A bit of a longer break than usual. They both seem to want it.
The receiver leads. Second gallery.
Well, not for Rob. Rob has just breezed through his matches for the most part. Oh, we've got Henry Smith, Freddie's doubles partner, has entered the building. And we're about to be amused by his comedy stylings and cogent observations. Welcome, Henry.
Howdy, chums. Ooh. Tough break. Camera goes down. Now, I think the story in the first set, from my perception, Noah, was Freddie sort of going for the right shot, but at the wrong time a little bit. I think Rob was a little pushy and got away with it. Did the right things at the right time, though, to get the job done, 6-2. But it certainly felt closer than 6-2 at points. Looked like Freddie had a lot of momentum many times. Rang the jingle bells quite a few times. But, yeah, I think... Oh, wow. That's unlucky. Yeah, a few of those edges, for sure. But, yeah, you know, if it's a hazard chase and you're on the receiving end, you know, or rather the opposite way, a gallery chase and you're on the serving end, going for those hazards is a great shot, but sometimes you have to wait just that extra shot to do so, and I think that maybe he was trying to go for that shot, just a ball early and sort of missing a few of those, but definitely has the right ideas. I think he just needs to work on his patience just slightly, and I mean, he's clearly got the shot, so I think he can kind of get this. It's a tough miss, but I think he can get this back on his racket a little bit. What do you think, Noah?
I think it's one of the tough parts about playing against Rob is that he gets so much back, and mostly in a good spot, that it forces Freddie to have to hit that winner one shot earlier than he would normally do so. He's hitting too high, or low.
30 all.
I think he could maybe weather the storm a bit more, but I don't want to give any insight on somebody that is definitely better than me. So.
Last gallery, 2 chases.
Well, I don't think that should matter too much. I mean, otherwise, practically no one would be able to give any insight in the entire court tennis world. I mean, these are two of the best players that we've got, and I mean, if we can't talk about them just because they, you know, kick our asses, then I suppose no one can. And then we'd have no commentary, and it would be a different viewership experience. So, you know, we'll give it our best shot, even though we don't quite have the games that these two guys do. But, you know, nonetheless, I think your words are are definitely valued by the audience, Noah. So
Better than second gallery.
Great throw. Great defense. Wow.
40-30 receiver. Last gallery.
Big game here, though. I think Freddie was up 2-1 in that first set as well. Ryan, do you remember? I think we were a similar position. And Shenkman brought it back to 2-all.
Won it better than last gallery.
Wow. That's an unfortunate
Game
lead.
receiver 3-1.
3-1. All important 5th game.
yeah, and I think Freddie likes the best of 5 format. I think he doesn't mind a little time to settle in. Hopefully, he took some of those electrolyte tablets before playing to avoid any crampage of the muscles. And yeah, all the important minerals in those packets. Ooh, and there's another one of those edges. Oh, Bando to grill, a terrible combination. You know, sort of hate to see it, but yeah, Robert with the 1-2 punch, and there you go. Wow. Oh, but that's exactly what the doctor ordered. Well done, Freddie. Get that last gallery. Yeah, usually Freddie's setting his feet before that shot. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, those any force you can keep low, it's gonna absolutely pop off the back wall, and you know it's just a different way to set a chase at some point. You know, so you've got the risk of going high, coupled with the reward of getting a dead on, but then you know setting a chase, never a bad thing. And honestly, these galleries are pretty small, and it certainly seems they've made they've hit quite a few bottom edges of the gallery, so I don't think that's a bad option at all.
Henry, do you think that Freddie's missing more targets than he normally would? Or is that just kind of what it looks like?
Well, you know, a shooter shoot, and you've gotta miss some to make some, and I think he gets in a little bit of rhythm where sometimes it feels like it's you know Christmas in April when we see Freddie play. We've got the jingle bells just absolutely in tune. So yeah, to answer your question, I think that he has missed a few. I think, like I said before, he's gone for that aggressive shot, maybe one ball too early. But I think that he needs to keep playing his aggressive style. I think I think once it starts to groove, it'll suit him. And definitely a clever shot there from Freddie. Yeah, well done. Well done on that. Not a great angle to hit that shot, but Freddie's got the hands to do it. Can't tell if that would have gone high, but maybe it's a must hit. Probably worried about that going in. Yeah, as Ryan Carey says, we will not find out the answer to that. Ooh, Freddie opting out of the backhand volley would have been tough. Kind of got a bad bounce there. Two-three.
It's a great shot from Rob there. We'd love to hear from you in the comments if you're watching. Looks like we've got a good amount of viewers, especially compared to early on in this tournament. So.
Yeah, well, I think people tune in to see the real deal, and that's what we've got here. Probably the strongest U.S. amateur final in recent memory. You know, you've got a guy in the plus handicaps, and Freddie Bristowe, who's damn close to the plus handicap. So yeah, not a total shock that we've got some guys tuning in that might not have otherwise in the early rounds. And we've got Peter Cipriano hopping in. Very glad to see him here. And Peter, off the bat, what would you like to say?
Greetings to our 40 concurrent viewers. Hi, Mom. Good match going on here. A lot of athleticism on show. I think both players are trying to gain control of the match. It's looking like Freddie's a bit in the ascendancy now, starting to grow into it. And I think Robert just needs to calm down a bit, try to reset, and play his sort of classic game. He did a really good job in the first set. Got a few errors from Freddie, so see what happens here. It's a really interesting game.
Yeah, and obviously Ryan sort of cutting over to the commentary booth, and none of us wearing coat and tie here, so we apologize. Wearing T-shirts and yeah, exactly. Yeah, amateur look indeed.
Austin for worse than 4. 30 all.
Yeah, maybe a Turnbull and Asser sponsorship for real tennis.
Good shot from Robert there. One thing I will say is both guys seem to be reading the court much better today than they were on Friday or Saturday. That was just a tough shot to deal with off the tambour for Freddie, but I have to say both of them are seeing it well and have reacted well. Both the Penthouse and the commentator's curse there, Penthouse and the tambour. So good athletes, good tennis players. 3 games all, second set. Good save from Robert there to pull one out of the dead on. But Freddie staying aggressive as always with the volley force for chase worse than 5.
Some galleries more than usual today.
Worse than 5 in last gallery. No stroke.
Freddie's using that the gallery shot more than he normally does. Although similar to Rob, I don't know if he's been really challenged enough in this tournament to have to chip galleries to get back on the serving end yet in this tournament. So could be just that we have an odd sample size to judge off of. Sticking with that demi PK. It was working earlier on to get Rob to hit some floor shots on the return instead of anything too aggressive, so. Oh man, could have taken it off the floor.
Receiver, last gallery.
It's a tough bounce. 3-all, it's a huge game from 3-1 up. It's a good job crawling back from Rob.
Yeah, and I think a big part of Freddie's game is also just taking time away from his opponent by taking it early. So we'd love to see him sort of take that before the back wall next time. And there you go. There's the volley signature, Freddie Bristowe.
Robert's gotten a little bit pushy on that point. I think he needs to go back to basics and try to hit the galleries more from his backhand side on the receiving end underneath the grill. It's obviously easier said than done from the commentator's box rather than being on court against a really good player like Freddie. But it makes his life a lot easier when he can reset, get back to the serving end, and try to get that railroad going. Once he's getting that serve down low on the back wall, it doesn't really give Freddie a lot to hit at. Whereas from the serving end, if he's not hitting galleries and he's trying to chip the ball, if it's not to a perfect length, Freddie's going to be super aggressive on that backhand ball. Well read by Robert. So he's rewarded, even though he doesn't hit the gallery there, he's rewarded for the efforts. We've got a viewer from Barcelona.
Looks like Maddie Thring from Barcelona. Not sure who that is, but thanks for the comment. It is Thrang, I believe. Thanks for the comment. Good to hear from you from Barcelona. Actually, I think I do recognize the name. I think she's an up-and-coming player in DC. Anyway, 3-all, 40-30.
Lost it. Deuce.
Big deuce here.
Yeah, and I think the winner of this match will probably spend, I'd imagine, 55% of the time on the serving end. Would love to see the data on that. I don't know if that'll ever be available, but I think we'll have to eye it out in the commentary box.
Good footwork there from Robert, but he let himself down a bit. Didn't finish out the shot, I don't think. Got a little bit lazy, lobbed it up instead of stepping through the ball and hitting it. Gave Freddie a chance to end the rally, which he did capably. Hitting that main wall force. Got better than second gallery with Bristowe up with an ad.
Fault.
Yeah, I think that was a poor decision from Robert there. Maybe on another court, that shot would be effective, but I think it slows down off the main wall when you're hitting that post. So it just gives Freddie a chance to get his feet set, move in, and you see what happens. Yep.
Yeah, it's a little counterintuitive because you'd think, with how the other walls play, that main wall would be just as fast, and I suppose not on that heavy boast. But definitely the back walls pop out and are very lively, so difficult to read. Yeah, and I think we got a few predictions from the commentary box. Fellas, please enlighten us.
Well, I got to go with the American. I'd like to see Freddie win this in 4 sets. But it's looking like it's going to be tough. I think if it goes to 5, Rob's got the experience there. And he's got great fitness as well, so it'll be tough for him to win. But with shots like that, he's pretty tough to beat. Move up, Peter.
Yeah, I think it's obvious to everyone watching. Freddie's got more of like the Hollywood, what do they call them, dollar signs in Philadelphia.
He's got that cartoonesque, sort of emoji with dollar sign eyeballs, just going guns a-blazing for targets, and it's a good little animation of what his mindset is like on the court a little bit.
Yeah, so I think Freddie's game, he's gonna hit more amazing shots like that one into the winning gallery, so a bit more volatility. So I think he can go off for a set or two, but I think Robert is a bit more consistent, a bit more classic. So if Freddie's able to close this set out at 1-all and continue this level of play up, obviously it's going to be really hard for Robert. I think at the beginning of this set, I was watching from the Daedon, and you saw Robert sort of take a bit of a sigh, and it seemed like his body language just ever so slightly was showing that he was a bit tired maybe, or that he was trying to relax. And I think that I just sort of saw a bit of intensity like leave his body almost with that breath. So I don't know what he's got to do to get his energy levels back up a little bit and reset. But if he doesn't do that, it's looking like Bristowe could run away with the next set. So we'll see. Do we think that someone has a better backhand than Freddie in the amateur world? I guess it's a matter of sort of preference, right? Freddie's super aggressive with his backhand, sort of forcing the ball. Not as much of a classic floor playing backhand style like the old boys like Pierre would go for. Certainly the most offensive that I can think of consistently. Good shot there for Freddie. So 1 set all. Yeah, in America, not thinking of anyone off the top of my head that's got a better backhand. And in England, no idea. Henry Smith thinks he has a better backhand, it sounds like. It depends on what sport, though. I like my backhanding rackets more than his.
Yeah, I think it would be ludicrous of me to say that I have a better backhand than Freddie. So I don't know where that comment originated, Peter, but yeah, I suppose you'd have to go international if you were trying to think of anyone in the amateur world, and I don't have the breadth of experience to speak to that. So Charlie, I think for now we'll say Freddie will be number 1 in that category. Now, here's a question for Peter, our local court tennis historian. Who would you put on the pantheon of greats in the amateur game throughout the ages, Peter?
Yeah, actually, Charlie, you say Matthew Sarlong. That's one person that was coming to mind as Henry was talking. He sort of grabbed the microphone out of my hand before I could give that as an answer. So Matthew has a much different style than Freddie, obviously much more of a classic floor playing style, sort of a slower, more organized approach to everything. But yeah, playing Matthew's really tough when he's on and he's cutting the ball around the floor to good length. It's very difficult. It doesn't give you a lot to hit at. I think Freddie thrives on getting opportunities to step into balls and likes to create a bit of chaos. He has that American style, actually, funnily enough, even though some would say he's British. I mean, the people in the commentary box here think he's American. Some would argue that having a British accent, a British passport, going to school in Britain, and having British parents would make you a Brit, but perhaps I'm wrong.
Yeah, Peter, as usual, rather blasphemous commentary. Freddie, I was having breakfast with him and my cousin, who's about 9 years old, and she didn't even notice his British accent. I think Freddie was slightly embarrassed by that. However, I think that there's a dual citizenship going on there, and Freddie's made his choice as to who he's going to compete for. And like many athletes, he does have options. So I mean, gosh, for all intensive purposes here, Peter, he's as American as apple pie.
Henry, I couldn't agree more. When I think American, I think Freddie.
Fair enough. We've got a 2-1 vote. I'm not going to ask Ryan what his opinion is. He's not going to tell us. I don't think he said a word the entire weekend in the commentary box. So, keeping his thoughts to himself.
40-30 serve leads.
Better to be thought a fool than to open one's mouth and move all down, I suppose. However, no one would say that Ryan is a fool, and when he does chime in, it's it is insightful. So, Ryan, we would like to hear more from you. If you ever need to grab the microphone, please do. He's sort of shaking his head over there. He does have better things to attend to. And here's Bill Barker.
Henry, you've been called away on an important assignment. Freddie needs a shirt. Believes you know where his shirt is.
15 love serve.
Look, he believes, as his doubles partner, that you can help him out here.
30 love.
Could be an opportunity to see Freddie changing shirts here on camera in a little bit, if that's something that interests you.
15-30.
Keep your eyes open.
It's a better point there from Robert, although I think if you just spent that extra split second thinking about hitting the target, he might follow through more and get that ball into the winning gallery or the grill, make his life a tiny bit easier. But he's got a 2-love lead here in the third set, so maybe whatever I'm saying is totally wrong, and he's doing his thing and succeeding the way that a much better player than I would. Poor choice from Freddie there. He's cutting across the back of the ball with the ball in front of him. So Robert's obviously going to look to try to make a run here. Maybe smell some blood in the water. But a good shot there to sort of diffuse some of the pressure and eventually get himself back over to the serving end from Freddie. Haven't seen much of that from either player so far this match. Just going simple chip for the gallery. Good shot from Robert there. And I think we just had another camera go out, unfortunately, for Mr. Carey, making his life a bit more difficult. Yeah, I think, Robert was expecting that ball to be a bit easier, and I think he had committed to seemingly his favorite shot, the sort of force for the grill from that side of the court. And unfortunately for him, it took an extra bounce off the penthouse, and you saw what happened. He overhit it, and Freddie punished it, as he's so capably. Great shot from Robert. Kept it simple there. Good solid volley. Not trying to do too much with the ball. I think when he's playing his best, it's exactly that. It's controlled. It's short strokes. It's thoughtful. Good footwork and keeping it simple. So they're going to switch sides with the second gallery chase. Shenkman up 2-love, 40-15. And then we get a shirt change from Mr. Bristowe. For all you ladies in the chat, if we can't get a mic change since Ryan Carey's out here right now, but I can assure you that Freddie's got some strong chest hair, well-defined abdominals, and I guess if there's one thing that we might want him to work on is he could put some work into the pecs. I mean, a bit more time in the gym with John Lumley and Henry Smith could benefit him. But all in all, pretty nice body.
B15, receiver leads. Second gallery. Three games to love.
So we've got a 3-love lead here for Shenkman. A great get off the tambour there. Bit lucky. Ooh. See, I think he did the right thing there, and I think showing a bit of negative emotion might be the wrong approach for Robert. Obviously, dealing with the frustration is a difficult thing in the moment sometimes, but I like the idea. There you go. See that, you know, it seems like he's recommitted himself to trying to hit gallery, and I think he's going to benefit from it. Could make this set a lot easier for himself, playing more from that serving end. Great get from Robert and a really good shot from Freddie. An even better one. Let's see what he goes for here. Unlucky. I think Robert needs to roll force this one, but he chips. Ooh, great shot. Good point from these boys. Certainly taking their pound of flesh out of one another, which I'm sure you're happy to see, Noah, as Robert's future doubles opponent. I don't know if this was discussed earlier in the stream, but I would imagine that you'd like to see this one go 5 and see Freddie run Robert into the ground.
Yeah, I think best case scenario for me is for this to go to 5 and for Rob to lose, to go into this not a lot of confidence, though he should be confident against me and Eric.
40 love.
But yeah, I would love to see this go to 5. A lot of long rallies. So maybe if Freddie could take some extra time on the changeovers to have Rob on his feet a little bit more. It is interesting. You can see the difference in having the smaller galleries. There are much more odd ledge bounces, and the rallies tend to last a little bit longer. Harder to bail yourself out with a gallery. It's a tough miss. Underarm twist is working, trying to take away that cut volley. Yep. You think? Yeah. Take a. Yep. Yeah.
What I was saying, which Noah was reacting to, but I'm not realizing that no one else other than he and Ryan can hear me, is that I think on those serve returns where Freddie's committed to hitting, like this one here, he's committed to hitting a cut volley, which is pretty difficult off of a good underarm twist-ish serve that Robert's hitting there. Making life a bit more difficult for himself. Good return there from Freddie. But he's making his life a bit more difficult than if he were just to step back off the ball and chip for the gallery, keep things a bit simpler. But you see a good decision there from Freddie to the last gallery chase and advantage Shenkman. But Freddie coming back to the serving end. I imagine he'll be looking to rip in a railroad or put a demi-peak in. Now, guys, it's always been a question for me, is it demi-peak or demi-PK? Does anyone have a comment on that?
I'm glad you said that, because I said demi-PK and immediately regretted it, in case I'd said it wrong about 20 minutes ago. So I'm glad that you said something. Henry, your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I certainly have no regrets and say things the wrong way all the time. But I go with demi-PK. I guess that's... I don't know if that's how the French would say it. Yeah, these guys are saying the boys are getting a little wacky out there, smacking the ball around. Nothing really wrong with that. Ends with a last gallery chase, so Robert able to reel it in a bit.
Advantage, chase last gallery.
Peter just chiming in that no one's really hitting for the base of the timber. Charlie answers. Yeah, Charlie answers with the spelling.
Charlie, we don't speak French. We don't know what an E with an apostrophe on the end of it is. Ryan says accent, but again, that means absolutely nothing to me, being from New Jersey. Charlie asks if I'll play back if this goes 5. You know, I think I said yesterday, Robert and I last year in the finals of the USAM, even though he had a fairly easy, straightforward win in the finals over, I think it was John Cole. It was like 2-2-2. I played back for the entire first set and I think a fair portion of the second. And then we decided to switch mainly because I think he was starting to feel uncomfortable up at the net. So I'm always trying to pay attention to how my partner's feeling, what his mental state is, and you know, be cognizant of that stuff. Play to their strengths. You know, it's important in a partnership to play to the biggest strength of the overall partnership, which I would say is probably having Robert back. And we've got another camera taken out there, Ryan sort of grimacing. So in short, Charlie, I think either of us are happy to play back or up. Doesn't really matter. And if he's feeling tired, certainly I don't think we'll be too much worse off with me back there. But maybe Noah would disagree. I don't know. No, he's shaking his head no.
Yeah, well, I don't know if Noah's going to give a straightforward answer there. Good little shot there from Freddie. Yeah, well, Noah, if you wanted Peter back, if you felt that that would play to your advantage, I don't see why you would admit that. Now, Peter, I don't know if you're a golfer, but how would you say the tennis handicap aligns, or how would you compare it to the way they do the handicap system in the game of golf?
You know, Henry, I actually have no idea. But I will say that the singles handicap, I feel like, well, first of all, you come to America versus England versus France versus Australia, and there appears to be some sort of a disparity between each country's handicapping. There's a little bit of a difference between like, a 5 in America versus a 5 in England versus a 5 in the other countries. And Noah and Henry are asking what do I think are like the more realistic ones. I think it's easier to get to like the mid-single digits in England because there's much more competition. So, at the amateur level, I'll say. But that being said, in America, we're starting to see some of the younger guys drop down into the single digits. Noah, I think, is playing off of like a 9 right now, maybe lower. Freddie's off of a 3. I was recently off of a 9 doubles single digit. Ben Stein's around there. Henry, you're sort of moving down towards that level. I would say your handicap is artificially high. Realistically, I'd say you're probably closer to mid to low teens than whatever you are, 17. He says somewhere around there. Yeah, 25. I feel like the golf handicap depends on like what course you're playing on, maybe a little bit, and here it depends on who you're able to play with and who you're exposed to, I guess.
Yeah, I think one key feature of the golf handicap is they reward the best performances. So out of 20 rounds of golf, the best 5 will count for your handicap, and the other 15 will not, out of your most recent scores. In tennis, it doesn't exactly work like that. So if you do have a bad match, you're immediately penalized. And And I think one of the results of that is, a player that is outside of a 6-point range of someone might not want to play on the books straight up because, yeah, and I've seen that personally a few times in matches with no emotes, but yeah, it would be interesting to see if we were to just reward the best performances, if that would have a more accurate effect on a player's level. I would say, generally speaking, at tournaments, people tend to play their best tennis. And just, on a random Tuesday night, if you take a loss, you might not have, you had a tough day at work, et cetera, you might not be up to it quite the way you would be at a tournament. So, yeah, I don't know how. I mean, I do think that the system that's been created by Chris Ronaldson is an amazing one, but I'd be interested to see if there's an ongoing dialogue as to whether any changes to that system could be considered.
I'll say this, in America at least, just look at players' handicaps and the results that they're putting in. Noah Moats, for example, I think he's put in literally an infinite amount of results more than, for example, like I have. I'll only add scores in competitive matches and never enter anything else. Whereas in DC, they basically enter every single score. I think the same goes with Boston. And I think in Philly, it's maybe somewhere in between. And then I'll also say this, Henry pointed out that in golf, they take your 5 best scores, whereas here in court tennis, they'll take into account every score. So I think it gives a more accurate reading on a player's ability to acclimate to different courts, to travel, playing different players, etc. So I think that the court tennis handicap system is basically perfect if people actually enter scores.
Yeah, and I suppose that does vary from club to club in terms of just the culture. I think in DC, it's sort of, if we don't mention it, we're playing for the books. Whereas in Philly, there is sort of this idea that, we're going to talk about playing for the books before we play, and if you don't talk about it, then, the assumption is that it's not going in. So, I think it does vary from club to club, though. It definitely seems advantageous to everyone that the more scores you put in, the more accurately your handicap will be reflected.
30-15.
All right, getting back to the match after that about 20-minute long aside on random thoughts on handicaps from the 3 geniuses here in the booth. Robert Shenkman's built up a pretty strong lead here at 5-1, but Freddie Bristowe has a 40-15 lead in this game. And he's putting some good serves and getting Robert on the back foot. So these 5-set matches are a test of character in some respects, and it certainly puts your entire game on display, especially with 2 players as good as this. So I think we had spoken earlier about consistency versus volatility and being Hollywood versus being sort of conservative and standard. So the contrasting styles here, I think, are on display pretty well. But you could see if Freddie Bristowe, he wins this game. You could see a bit of a run from Bristowe to win a few games here. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw that, maybe 2 or 3 games, and then try to bring some momentum into the next set, perhaps, if he's not able to get this back to 5-all or get over the line after that. Smart shot there from Robert just to diffuse the pressure, get himself back over to the serving end, and roll level in this game. Bit of a wild swing there from Freddie on the backhand, but if it's going to come off for anyone, it's probably going to be him. Good shot there from Robert. Really good shot. Yeah, he's as Noah said, he's eating up a lot of these balls that Freddie's hitting a bit long under the grill, and he really committed to following through on that one. I do think, though, that on shots like the one he just hit on the main wall post, he needs to focus on getting his feet set and stepping in and hitting through the shot. Good shot from Freddie there. Because if he doesn't, this doesn't carry through on this court. Just the ball, you really need to commit to hitting through the ball. Isn't that right, Noah? Saw you committing to hitting through the ball in both your singles and doubles yesterday, and it's going about Mach 20 at people's head.
30-15.
I'd like to clarify, not aiming for anyone's head. I think I actually moved into the ball, so can't quite blame Freddie for that one. It would have been, but yeah, I think
30 all.
I'm obviously gonna say hitting through the ball is better, for me personally. But you guys seem to know what you're doing. It's great. Henry just reminded me of how large my head is, so it was
Second gallery.
humbling. Always humbling to be in the booth with you. Henry, thank you.
What now?
Yeah, well, of course, I would
End
say
of
the same
set.
thing about my head, Noah. Don't worry. Yeah, huge point here. Second gallery advantage to Robert. Just took the serving end. Freddie stepping off the court for a little water break. Hopefully he gets good hydration and doesn't have to deal with any muscle cramps.
What do you guys think, if any, will be sort of the result of Freddie's minor cramps that he was having in yesterday's match? Henry, I don't know if you spoke to him about it. Huh? Freddie just offered a mid-game interview, but we're not particularly interested in speaking to him right now. We think that he should be focused on trying to win the match instead of speaking with us. However, for the 60 of you concurrent viewers out there, you may have been interested in hearing him speak rather than the dull tone of my voice.
Second gallery.
So, why don't you give us some comments, questions? Maybe let us know if you'd like to hear from the players.
Yeah, I think maybe one of us should step out to the line and make use of that mid-court microphone. Get both of the boys talking about the match a little bit. But I don't know, it does seem a little strange to hear from the guys during the match. Tough shot there from Robert.
Deuce.
Back to deuce. Eighth game here. I think that's. I think Freddie was sort of saying the other day that it's the most important game of all. Good get from Freddie. What does he do here? Ooh, smart shot. Smart shot.
Advantage
Good
server.
pressure from Robert. Set point. And jingle bells for the set.
6 games to 2.
Freddie likes the way that set ended.
Rob
Put a
Shenkman
couple
leads 2 sets to
Games
1.
together to finish it out. Momentum might be on his side still, even though Rob pulled that set out.
Would you like to come in for an interview quickly? Both players have been engaging with the commentators box just over the past few minutes. But unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to have them say much to us.
Hello, fans of court tennis. It's Freddie Bristowe here with the mid-game interview.
Robert, how do you think this match is
I hope
going?
you guys are all doing well.
I was happy with that
That
set. 5-love lead. Fred came back, so glad to close it out. He's definitely gonna have more for me
Rob just
in
gets
this
everything
fourth.
back. Bloody annoying, but
So just
you
gonna
know,
have
I
to keep
keep
serving
on
tight and
going.
hitting my targets, but
and,
he's definitely
I'm
got
looking
some
forward
great
to
shots.
getting into this fourth set. The
Thank
famous
you, Robert
fourth.
Shenkman. That may
Freddie,
be
how are you going
first.
to change your tactics to sort of get this match back on your side?
Well,
getting a double interview.
I rub back on Cora. I'll leave it. You guys there.
That's sort of a little more coordinated.
Okay, so bit of lighthearted interview action going on there to end the third set, and coming into the fourth, I think it's going to be crucial for Robert to, get that serve a bit further down. Lucky there that Freddie put the ball into the top of the net. I think he needs to get the feet moving. He started to get a little wild towards the end of that set, and just hit his targets like he did there. Freddie made a really good get, but I think he's got the right approach. And I think from Freddie, he's in a little bit of a tough spot, but if there's anyone that's going to be able to hit out from it and produce some really good tennis and some shot making, it's going to be him. So I think he's just going to back himself to keep doing what he's doing and, try to go for the dollar signs.
Yeah, and I'm a little surprised about the willingness of the players to engage in the mid-match interviews. I don't know if that's something I would do myself, but I'm not in the U.S. Amateur Final.
Yeah, Henry, I must say, one of the last things that I would do is approach you mid-match and ask for an interview. These two, I think, are a little bit more lighthearted while playing, but Henry, you do tend to frighten me a little bit on court.
No, I was going to say, early in the first set, Robert had hit a backhand back wall boast, and he said to the crowd and to Freddie, that was the first time I've ever done that. The walls are too slow in England. And one of the other members of the Dayton gallery thought that Robert was taunting Freddie, and he said, you shouldn't taunt Freddie. And I don't know if that was just a complete misread of the situation, which just may be just the lack of social awareness from some of these Washington, D.C. club members. Or maybe I was misreading the situation. I don't really know. But knowing Robert Shenkman, extremely good-natured fellow, comes from a great family of similar individuals, and certainly wasn't taunting Freddie. He was just excited to create a new shot for himself, I'd say. Lost about 5 viewers during that sequence of commentary, so I apologize if anyone got bored there or offended. And Freddie Bristowe takes the first game of the fourth set. Great get. Some really good tennis on display there. Robert a bit unlucky after a couple of those really good gets, but
Robert electing not to leave that for the hazards and just pumping one into the backhand corner. Surprised to see him not go for a gallery there, maybe a little change of tactics. Good retort from Freddie. And an excellent go for the grill there from Freddie Bristowe.
Folks. Worse than 6. 40-15.
Peter reminding us that the fat boasts have to be a bit shorter and reach that wall. Wow. Well, we thank all the viewers for tuning in with us today. If you have any comments, we'd love to hear from you. Any questions, concerns about the commentating?
40-15 worse than 6.
So 40-15 to Bristowe, worse than 6. Shenkman going with the railroad, backing himself. Good shot there from Robert. Bit unorthodox.
30-40.
You know, I think you've seen that shot a lot more from some of the Brits. Darren Long, Ben Taylor Matthews, and Robert. I think we'll hit that shot pretty often, and it's effective. It's not something that you're expecting on the receiving end. And just if you can get it down at the other person's feet, it's a really tough shot to do. Great shot from Robert and a good effort from Freddie to get a racket on that. So we're back at deuce. We're not back at deuce, but we're at deuce. It's been deuce before, but just not in this game. Thank you, guys. There's an excellent observation. Appreciate it.
Yeah, and a wise gallery play there from Freddie. Missed first serve from Robert. A dribbling bobble. What does he do here? Off the back. Goes for the gallery. Misses. Robert right back. High out of court. Advantage Bristowe.
Advantage second gallery.
Changing ends. Yeah, Robert's got to buckle down if he's going to weather the storm. And Freddie looking strong, starting this fourth set. Yeah, I would love to see this go into a fifth, but I don't know if Peter would. I think I'd imagine he'd like to see Robert close this one out and save some energy for the doubles, but a conflict of interest perhaps in the commentary box.
Yeah, I mean, certainly would always like to have my partner as fresh as possible for the doubles, but if he's got to go to work and go to a fifth set, he's got to go to work and go to a fifth set. And whatever it takes to win, right? Let's see what he goes for here. So Robert's been missing that specific type of force high, I think, almost the entire weekend. And a great shot from Freddie there, inside out backhand. It looks like Robert's sort of coming under and inside the ball and not coming through the ball. That technique just hasn't worked for him on force. Good choice there, I think. Great shot from Robert.
Yeah, Peter sort of able to flatten the ball out a little better that time, put the racket through the ball.
Down, better than 3. 2 chases.
Good bounce from him with that boast.
All. Second gallery.
Freddie missing a slight opportunity there. Extremely important point here, but a tough chase for Freddie to beat. Better than 3. Interesting choice by Robert to do the railroad. Ooh. Misses that shot. Rare miss from Robert Shenkman. 30-all in the third game. 4 set. get by Robert. Go for the gallery.
First gallery.
Does he get it? First gallery, maybe? Yeah, indeed, first gallery. Ended up working out for him.
40-30, first gallery.
Good cut volley from Freddie there. An advantage to the server.
I think on that last error from Robert, you saw him kind of follow through with his run on the ball. And he didn't stop his feet to try to get a solid base. You know, as I've said before, it's easier said than done here in the commentator's box, but he could be feeling it a little bit physically in the lower body. He's played a lot of tennis this weekend, and it's going to be hard to be producing really good shots regularly unless his feet are under him. Great get from Freddie. And a 3-love lead here in the fourth set. So Bristowe in the ascendancy. Honestly, at this point for Robert, I would assume that he may be thinking in the back of his mind that it could be worth just chucking this set and moving on, but at the same time, you never want to give up. You want to put pressure on your leg because you don't know what's going to happen, especially against someone who was cramping yesterday. But a good shot there from Robert. Doesn't look like he's going to get the sit-up.
Yeah, I don't think it's really in Robert's nature to give anything up, and I certainly would say that would be dangerous against Freddie, who, if he starts to feel that, might really go on a run of grills and gongs. Wonderful bit of tennis there. Well done from Freddie. Forehand off the back wall. Freddie not quite able to do what he wanted with it.
Second gallery, 2 chases.
And there's a gallery. So changing some ends here. Yeah, might have to get these boys a few Cliffies, a few Cliff bars there, and a little protein, some quick carbohydrates.
So how long have we been on for with this match? Is it closing on 2 hours?
Last gallery.
Yeah, so they're closing in on the 2-hour mark. You know, it's a long time to be on court, and it's certainly not easy when you're playing at the intensity levels that these guys are.
Second gallery.
They're taking each other on, really. It's not like a nip-tuck, chipping it around type of thing.
On the chase, 40-30.
40-30 to Bristowe. Poor serve from Robert. Yeah, Bristowe got away with one there. And Robert's looking a bit tired right now. I think he's really got to, it's definitely tough mentally and physically, but I think if he wants to give himself a chance here to end this set out and build some momentum, he's really got to bear down. Get those feet going when you bend the knees.
The door. No stroke.
So a quick chase from Bristowe just to get himself back to the serving end. Shot from Robert there.
15 up.
Yeah, and it's funny, I think in court tennis you don't really think of it as a attritional game, but in this 5-set format, it certainly can become just that. And with all the quirky bounces and funny movements you make, your body definitely starts to feel it after a while. So I think fitness will be tested by for both these guys, and I think Robert spends a good amount of time in the gym. I don't know how much of that is done on a cardiovascular basis, But yeah, we'll see what comes out of this.
I think it'll be interesting to see what Rob does if he loses this game. He's down 5-love.
Chase at the door.
Given their last match in Hobart, where Rob came back from a 5-love deficit in the final third. But does it make sense to just drop that set? Start off anew?
15 all, last gallery. Colt.
Great post here. Yeah. His foot movement is not what it was at the beginning of this match. He could just be holding out for the doubles, yes. It's a good shot.
30-15 server.
Freddie Bristowe. Can't say this is a huge game, but he's missed a lot of those main walls. Yes, good shot.
40-15.
40-15 to go up 5-love.
Chase worse than 2. 40-15.
All right. Yeah, get on the serving end. Maybe he can hold that serving end for the next set if it comes to that.
If I'm Robert here, I'm going to make a push. I don't know if he's aware that his foot movement hasn't been quite what it was. I mean, he's probably feeling tired when you're in that.
40-15
I guess in that moment in a match like this, you might get a little bit of tunnel vision and just be thinking like sort of survival mode a little bit. But it's obviously apparent to us here in the commentator's box that he's feeling it physically.
30-40.
But I think at this point, you've got an opportunity to try to get back in this game and build a little momentum this set. He's switched up his serve now, so gone to a serve, high serve that's obviously a lot less effort than the railroad. And then here's a bobble. But I think for Robert, well left by Freddie. I think for Robert on these serves now, Freddie's committed, and I think rightfully so, to ripping in that cut volley off of anything other than a railroad. High all. No, taking his glasses off for the camera and wants to look a bit more handsome. Perhaps that's for Maddie in Barcelona. Good commitment there from Freddie on that volley, and bit too big of a swing. So giving Robert an opportunity to get a foothold in this set. First deuce. Noah making a good point there. He's asking, wasn't Robert up 5-love in the last set and Freddie won 2 games? So it could be a bit of a mirror situation going on. But great shot from Robert there. This is a game of momentum, a game of inches. So, you got to take every inch you can get.
Juice. worse than first gallery.
Great serve from Robert there. Good control. Seems like he's found the length on the railroad when he really commits to it. He's got really good control of the height on the back wall. And well left. So he wins a game there.
Game 1, game to 4.
Let's see if he can carry this momentum through to the next game and try to build some comeback action, or if Freddie's just going to close it out with shots like that.
15 love receiver.
I don't think that's going to be the serve to hit Freddie if you're going to be hitting it long on the back wall. Good shot there.
Last gallery.
Good rally there. Freddie making an extremely difficult backhand look very easy. Impressive play from both these boys.
Down better than 2.
Good aggressive shot from Freddie. So we've got a last gallery followed by a better than 2 chase, 15-all. I don't know about you guys, but if I'm Freddie right now, I think for the next probably 3 or 4 points, I'm going absolutely full throttle and trying to up my intensity as much as possible. Unlucky there. Just didn't quite follow through. He tried to control that forehand. So giving Robert an opportunity here. Poor choice, I think, from Robert there off of a better than 2 chase. He tried to hit the ball too hard rather than cut it in. 30-all. Crazy bounce and an incredible correction, but unlucky from Freddie to hit that out of court. Maybe need to speak to some of the court builders here, sort that back ball out. Or the ball makers. We don't really know what happened there. Good get. That was not down. Tough call there. It didn't look down here from the mark. He corrected it as a stroke. I guess Freddie must have hit the net. So 2-4 to Shenkman now. Great get from Freddie and an even better get from Robert off of the edge of the tandem. Good shot from Robert. Looks like he started to sort of pick his energy up. And maybe Freddie's feeling it a bit now.
Yeah, definitely a wise move to stay competitive in this set. Yeah, obviously that force hasn't paid any dividends.
15 love.
You've seen a few of those go off the roof, and Freddie able to take advantage right there. A good choice from Freddie.
30 love.
Yeah, elected not to go for the grill, and I'd like to see him do that a few more times when he has a little less pressure from that backhand corner. And that's a tough ball to deal with, to be fair. And Noah's sort of asking if it's a racket's habit to hit that ball a little flatter on the backhand side, and
40-15 chase. Worse than a yard. Balls, please.
Yeah, and Peter just sort of saying that in rackets tend to try to cut the ball, and maybe Freddie's rackets game, or his rackets backhand rather, is actually a little more reflective of his court tennis rather than the other way around.
But what do I know? Noah's saying quite a lot. I appreciate the vote of confidence, Noah. So 4-2. Changing ends. Getting some new balls here. And a bit of a rest for both players, just taking a minute or two to catch their breath, get their legs under them, and reset mentally, maybe.
I'll ask a sort of aside. Who would you...
40-15, receiver leads.
Oh, Marshall Smith in the commentary box. He's asked, who is expected to win going into this match? It's actually a tremendous question. Probably most would say Robert's a slight favorite. However, oh my goodness, and Freddie's won the chase. Robert electing to leave it. Yeah, anyway,
15 left.
Robert would be a slight favorite, Marshall, but I do think Freddie's proven that he can get this result by his play in Australia, where he was up 5-love in the last set, unfortunately lost 6-5. Wonderful use of that main wall timbre there from Robert. Smart shot. Good execution. Very hard shot to play there from Freddie. Oh. Robert's able to just sort of, take his time, chip it in, as Peter would say. And here we are with 30 all. Smart shot from Freddie. Low force. Yeah, and whether Robert elected to leave that or just didn't quite want to put the effort in to go for it is up for debate. Oh, and is he going to force this one? Yes. Good volley. Another force. And a similar chase. Great position for Freddie to be in right now. Holding the serving end with a 5-2 advantage. A couple of chases for him. And we'll see if he can close out the set here.
Or Cup. So I imagine that's either Robbie, John Lumley, or both, pointing out that there's a battle for the momentum going into the, potentially going into the fifth set, assuming that Freddie's able to close this set out one way or another. He's got 2 chases here. And a good railroad. Very close to a very good finish. Really good chop there from Robert.
Yeah, and Freddie just sort of quick to go for the hazards there. Oh, and here's his shot. Doesn't really do enough with it. And Robert able to close out that game. Still with Freddie on the serving end, so he holds that slight advantage. Noah just remarking that it's the famous 9th game. I don't really know where that trend came from, but I think it might have been Bristowe himself to coin it.
So Shenkman battling here, and it looks like he's scraped together some momentum for himself, taking the last Geller chase to start the game off. Freddie's starting to miss a bit high on some of these backhand balls that he's going for the grill, but follows through that one beautifully.
15 love serve.
Both players looking a bit fatigued right now. Great save. Really good shot from Freddie there.
Dirty love.
Gift from Robert. So Freddie, 40 love up, last gallery chase. 5-3, this is for the set. Do we get some pick up from that the gallery mic there? Apologies to all the fans if any children are listening. It's a frustrating game.
Last gallery.
Last gallery chase. And there's the set for Bristowe, so we're going 5.
Yeah, I think I'm going to back Freddie in this 5th set. Hopefully he's able to carry that momentum from the 4th, but definitely Robert's going to have something to say about that, and he will be looking to put absolutely everything into this final set.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough to say who pulls this one out. Originally, I'd said if it goes to 5, I would probably take Rob, but man, it's difficult now that we're actually in the 5th. They've both shown some times of fatigue, maybe, and they both seem to come back from it. So it's a bit difficult to make a prediction at this point. Don't think we're going to get an interview, though, after this set.
Celebrity appearance from John Moats here, one of the key figures in the building of this court. John, anything to say?
Fantastic match today. So I'm just enjoying the day and tremendous tennis.
Predictions, John?
It's tough to predict. Love to say that you can go with handicap, but Freddie's playing so well, and specifically that last set was just amazing tennis.
Yeah, I think I'd like to go for the underdog. I think that's a sort of a personal preference for me, rather than going on the handicap. Peter, any prediction from you?
I'm going to sit on the fence on this one. I think it's anybody's game. I honestly say it's 50-50. If one of these guys can manage to put together a couple games to begin the set, that's obviously who I would back. It's hard to say. Robert looked like he was sort of down and out in that last set, but he built a bit of momentum going into the 5th, so very hard to predict. Freddie walking away from the court now. He may have taken a bathroom break, perhaps, and Robert back on court. So here's Freddie. We're about to start the 5th set at the 2 hour and 15-minute mark. Long match.
2 sets all, 5th and final set. Level.
So last set, 5th set for the U.S. Amateur title. And with the first shot, Freddie takes out the camera, much to Ryan Carey's chagrin. So it's looking like both players are going to stick to their original intent. Freddie's going to swing away, try to hit his shots, hit his targets, be aggressive. And Robert, I think, is going to look to control the ball, play the floor, hit targets himself, and try to use what I think he would believe is his superior floor game. We're all even here. Anybody's game couldn't be closer. 15 all, first game, fifth set. And a really nice main wall force there. Freddie seemed like he took a bit off that just to get it on target, and it worked out.
Peter, where would this rank among the amateur finals you've seen in your lifetime?
This is certainly the highest quality match in terms of the level that I can recall having seen. It's rare that we'll get anyone at a U.S. amateur that is a plus handicap, and lately, over the past few years at least, it's also been rare to see someone in the low single digits. So this combination of players between Freddie and Robert, certainly a higher level on paper, and I would argue also on the court. Really good tennis being played. And as far as the fifth set goes, certainly seen some doubles matches go 5. The last time that the U.S. Amateur was held in D.C., I seem to recall Lex Myron and Pat Winthrop taking a 2-0 lead into the third set, and then Todd Maringoff and Danny McBride pulling the match out in 5 sets, winning 3 straight sets to become the U.S. Amateur doubles champions. And as far as singles goes, can't say I recall a 5-set singles match in a while, but I haven't been in every single U.S. Amateur. I know Jamie Giddens won the previous 2 to Robert. I think at least one of those was in 4, and I believe the other was in 3, both over John Kroll.
30-40.
It's 30-40 now. Good commitment to that cut volley there from Robert. You saw him really try to focus on finishing the shot and hitting through the ball. You know, his neck has been bothering him a bit. Had a bit of a stiff neck he was complaining about. So I think that's obviously going to be at the front of his mind, and just telling himself, forget about your neck, hit through the ball, finish your shot, and commit. If it hurts, it's only for one more set. And it's worth trying to go for the glory. So the marker calls it down at worse than 1, and we've got a deuce first gallery followed by a worse than 1 chase. So anybody's game. Shout out to the Arcot Pro Shop, saying $ tiled in. Good to see you boys are working on a Sunday morning.
Deuce, chase first gallery.
Poor volley there from Robert. Had an opportunity off his second serve to step in there. I know we're playing off of a worse than 1 with an advantage Bristowe. Good serve there from Robert. Freddie tried to do the right thing, but I think took way too big of a swing. So back to deuce.
If Freddie were to win, would he be one of the younger USAM champions, if not the youngest? Or in history have there been a few guys to make it in their teenage years?
That's a good question. I think certainly over the past few years, Robert and Jamie Giddens have been 2 of the younger ones. think Mark Mathias won when he was here in the States back in maybe like 2012 or 13. I'm not sure how old he was. I think he was maybe in his early 20s. So now that you mention it, yeah, if Freddie's able to pull this out, we would have probably one of the youngest, if not the youngest, U.S. amateur champions. If any of you guys in the chat who are historians of the game like to share your thoughts on that, or if you have any details, certainly interested to hear.
Yeah, perhaps the youngest since Jay Gould. In Philadelphia, see his name all over the place, and wouldn't have been surprised if he was able to win a few amateurs at a pretty young age. Off the roof there, tough. Freddie electing to go straight. Back for the grill. Good volley. Freddie for the timbre. Wins the point. Back to deuce. Tremendous play from Freddie. What does he do here? Goes for that timbre again. Beautiful volley. Oh, what a hard backhand volley. Well back. Finishes with the grill. Classic. That's the $sign. That's why he's earned the nickname.
Just looking back into the annals of the game, Morris Clothier in 1987 was the U.S. Amateur champion. So just judging by how old I believe he is now, he may have been about 19 or 20 years old at that point in time, maybe 21. So as far as and Camden winning in 2005, so he would have been probably 18 in 2005. Actually, Charlie Bram as well in 2016, so he probably would have been 18 as well, but not an American. So we've had some young champions. Maybe Freddie would be the youngest. Can't believe I forgot about Uncle Chuck. Shout out Charlie Bram. Got to see him in at Queens a couple weeks ago during the British Open doubles rackets. Great to see him. He had famously spent 6 months or so at the Racket and Tennis Club as our fellow after getting kicked out of the country by, what is it, INS? He was effectively deported after landing on American soil because he was going to be the fellow at the Chicago Racket Club and told them that he was staying there for 3 months and sort of acting as a rackets and court tennis professional, which they weren't too keen on because he didn't have a visa. So advantage Shenkman, and a great shot from Bristowe there. So it's a bit like a heavyweight battle. They're going punch for punch at this point. A lot of grit from both players. It's really impressive to see. Great shot from Robert there, and a really good, solid get from Freddie. Called down by Ivan. Chase better than 2. So important point for Robert here. And he's left it. He misread it off the main wall. So Bristowe coming to the serving end with 2 fairly short chases. Better than 2 and half yard worse than 6. So he's going to like his chances to hopefully close this game out. And if I'm Robert, yep, Jane Lippincott saying Jay Gould was 18 when he won his first game. So sounds like we've got about 4, maybe 5 guys in the past 125 years who were in their teens. So Bristow's certainly a special player, and would be a lot of even. Wow, great volley there. Really good defense from Freddie, and Robert taking a bit of aggression out there on some of those forces, trying to go for it. So Great cut volley and back to deuce. If I'm Robert, I'm just really trying to focus on that cut volley and trying to get the ball down on the floor with some cut. Freddie going back to the railroad, probably predicting that that's what he's thinking.
Yeah, I think if I'm Robert, I can't get caught up in beautiful. Perhaps not beautiful off the frame. Still great result. Yeah, I would say for Robert, don't get caught up in, and there's the first game. Tough miss from Robert, probably the right idea. Just need a little weight going forward. Yeah, just would play his classic style and not get caught up in a sort of smash bang style of tennis. Yeah, unfortunately, Freddie's racket going. Good thing he's got a few replacements there. Gonna need them in the 5th set.
So fun fact for all you fans out there, I was just looking back on the US CTA website, and the US amateur singles tennis preceded US amateur doubles by several years. Good shot from Robert. He's finally followed through and kept one of the main wall forces down, and I think if he's looking to rely on that shot, that's a good sign for him, and he's gotten himself a chase. Half yard worse than 6. Good cut from Robert there.
40 love, half a yard worse than 6.
And we're going to have to speak to somebody about the USCTA website because they've managed to leave off my name from the list of winners, sadly.
40 love, half a yard worse than 6.
Jane Lippincott calling you out. Tough miss from Robert there and a really good dig from Freddie. Robert going high tambour, which I don't think on this court really is a great shot. Freddie giving him an opportunity.
15-40.
So Robert, I think really needs this game. Going with a bobble, which I'm not sure is the right move. Given how Freddie's really hitting this cut ball and return so well. And now Freddie going with the chip backhand, mixing his pace up from that side, so good variation, yeah. 40-30, 30-40 I should say. So game to Shenkman, got a bit lucky. Rolled out off the back wall.
Yeah, good heavens, the nerves in this one, running high. Can't imagine how these guys, fathers feel watching this. I don't know if Simon and Willie are in the audience online, but I'd imagine they're definitely feeling those nerves.
Oh, unlucky for Robert there. I do have to say, having seen the last few serve and return points, Robert switching to the bobble, I actually like the way that that's turned out for him. He's gotten Freddie to hit some cut volleys, and so far, Freddie hasn't really finished the shots on those cut volleys, so he's giving Robert opportunities, and Robert just hasn't quite been able to take advantage of them. So a bit of a change of tactic. I think Robert trying to go back to sort of that classic floor game, and if he can avoid banging it around with Freddie, I think he'll stand in good stead. Conversely, if Freddie can keep these points, keep this sort of as a more athletic contest, I think he'll get this done. So really interesting contrast of styles here in this 5th set. Fantastic shot from Bristowe there. Creative over the low part of the net. Pierre Echebaster would be proud. Thank you, Jane. Yes, on your to-do list. And Brian Owens pointing out what I already did. Camden was 18 when he was national champion, yes. And famously back in the world champion seat. And great shot from Bristowe there. We'll be receiving a challenge from either Nikki Howell or John Lumley fairly soon in the World Championship, which will be taking place here in Washington, D.C. in September of 2023, God willing.
One chase 5, 30.
So 2 chases for Shenkman there, choosing to be a bit more conservative. Gotta say I like the play. This game is a mental battle just as much as it is physical in a lot of ways. And Robert's mom Ruth saying she's watching Robert, but Simon's gone off to the Manchester Tennis Rec Club to play some tennis. He's too stressed out to watch in person, which I don't blame him. Shout out to the Shenkman family. Some of the best people in the UK. My favorite family in Manchester. Incredibly hospitable. Great people. Good shot there from Freddie. Really good cut on that ball. Made it tough for Robert. So playing off a second gallery chase now and going back to the railroad. And Bristowe wins that game, so he's got a 2-1 lead in this 5th set.
2 games to 1 in the final set.
Yeah, that'll be huge for Freddie. I think he's a really good front runner, and but Robert's going to keep battling, and he's going to make it really hard for Freddie, and he's going to use his sort of maturity to his advantage, I think, in terms of decision making, and he'll definitely be backing himself. Classic Freddie. Backhand straight force attempt. And yeah, that going off to the chases isn't a bad thing. Another smart choice from Freddie. I'd like to see him play those galleries and stick on the serving end.
Especially early in the game with no strokes. So better than the second in the door.
Did you say it nicked first gallery? Is that what you said? Door, right. Level. Better than second gallery.
Robert will probably be pretty pleased with the luck he's had there on that point. Gotta be honest, he hasn't had like a tremendous amount of luck in the past set or so with bounces. Good pick up there. And unlucky from Freddie. So a couple fortuitous bounces for Robert to take a 30-love lead in the famous 4th game.
Yeah, we'll see what these guys go for, and if fortune favors the bold here.
I believe in Latin that's audentes fortuna juvat.
And Peter, that's impressive knowledge. How did you come upon that?
Great shot from Freddie there. Well, in 8th grade, I was actually a Latin scholar, and I got an A+ in Latin. I retired from Latin.
Perhaps an early retirement prior to your prime. Would you have liked to hang around in Latin class a bit longer?
God's honest truth, probably not. Focused on more useful things rather than a dead language. So 40-15 to Shenkman. Back to the tennis. And a good follow through to get Chase last gallery there. Changing ends. Both players looking quite fatigued, I have to say. We're touching the 2 hour and 40 minute mark almost, at 2 hours and 38 minutes just about. So if you're out there and you're one of our 78 concurrent viewers, I'm not sure how many of you have spent almost 3 hours out on the tennis court playing anywhere close to this level of tennis, but I can assure you that both these guys will be feeling it right now, right after the match, and tomorrow, and probably the next day or two after that. Luckily for them, they're much younger than I am, and they'll recover probably a lot quicker than someone in their mid to late 30s. Good correction and adjustment from Robert there, and a great finish. Yeah, looks like he's started to get a bit of energy back and some foot movement, which is good to see.
Yeah, I wonder if that's a little bit of adrenaline here. I think those highs and lows can come into play, especially with the title on the line in this 5th set. And we'll see if either of these guys can kind of ride a wave. Wow, main wall post. Just missing the grill. Great volley. Freddie with an extra. Going for the last gallery, maybe. Wins the point. Tremendous point. Robert taking his time, kicking that ball away. Not a bad move. Get a little rest. Catch your breath. Ooh, and just lucky from Robert.
As we said, a game of inches. It goes from being, a 30-love lead for Bristowe with a chase back to, 15-love with 2 chases, changing ends, and both of them being long chases. So an inch or two either way certainly makes a difference, and we'll see what Freddie's going to put together with the serve and third shot, and what Robert's going to go with.
Better than second gallery.
Great get from Bristowe there. He's run down a good hard low force from Robert, so 30 love. Looks like Freddie's come close to tearing his knee in half, but gains a 40-love lead here in the famous 5th game, in the 5th set of the U.S. Amateur Singles Final.
Chase, worse than 5. 40 love.
So Brian Owens and Jane Lippincott saying that Jay Gould was actually 17 when he won his first U.S. Amateur Championship, and I think it's really not up for discussion who the greatest American amateur tennis player was. It was certainly Jay Gould. And a 3-2 lead here now for Bristowe going into the 6th game of the 5th set. Bit of an odd bounce there off the service wall or whatever that's called. So better than the door. No strokes.
Yeah, and definitely Jimmy and Pete Boswick probably giving Jay Gould slightly a run for his money, both being world champions themselves, but no one can really compete with whatever it was, 20 straight amateur titles for Jay Gould. It's a wonderful backhand get. Amazing defense of the grill there, straight into the last gallery. Fortune favoring the bold. So no strokes in this one, changing ends here. I think Freddie really liking his position in this 6th game.
Chase off. Last gallery.
Chase off. Peter thinking it was worse than 2nd. I don't know. Tough to see from here, honestly. Yeah, wonderful from Robert there. Good chip.
And I've got to say, as being pretty good friends with both these guys and having played a lot of tennis and rackets with both of them, can't say it like I have a dog in this fight, but it could make a difference with Robert's mentality going into the doubles. If he's able to pull this out, he'll be going into the match on a high rather than being very disappointed. So, it'll be interesting to see if at all how that affects his mentality. And a stroke there, so is it 30-15 lead? And a hazard chase there. So it's a pretty darn close match.
Yeah, and I think if Freddie does pull this out, Robert might be even more keen in the doubles. Peter, he's just so competitive, and I don't see that for a second sort of negatively affecting him. But I agree, it will be interesting to see. Hazard chase. It'll be interesting to see what Freddie does here with the serve return. Goes for the cup volley, goes high. Great get by Freddie. Backhand rally. Oh, just dubs one into the net. Could be slightly disappointed, but 3-all. Robert to serve. Incredible 5th set thus far. Jingle bells. Jingle bells from Robert Shenkman. Impressive. Very impressive volley. Wow, Freddie going full strength into that initial forehand, but Robert able to put another one into the grill. Great choice by Freddie. Get back on that serving end. Massive advantage, in my opinion, being on the serving end, especially on this court. force. Goes for another force. Good volley. Yet again, but off the roof. Can Robert finish? Oh, and it's a hazard. That lively back wall makes the strategy a bit different. Risky going for that grill. Need a lot of commitment.
I think we need the balls,
and change of ends. Yeah, so here I'm solo in the commentary box, and I'm sure the viewership isn't too pleased about that. I know I kind of bounced off Peter a little better, but here we got Noah coming in. Maybe help me out a little bit, Noah. I'll change seats, and why don't you hop on in?
Coming in at a pretty crucial point. It's still 30 love Shenkman. 3-all. Kind of disrupting the rhythm with Freddie winning one game and then Rob coming back. So if Shenkman were to win this game, it'd be big.
Yeah, no one's been able to build a definitive rhythm. That's a good observation there, Noah. It's been back and forth. And Freddie with the railroad goes high. Lucky to be a fault. Would have been an aggressive play to volley that, but I think that's a smart election from Robert. Tough bounce. Beautiful backhand. What does he do here? Goes for the hazards. Oh my goodness gracious. A second gallery chase, put in the last gallery, 40 love. Freddie double railroad. Good one.
Worse than 4.
Yep, just a rolling nick from Robert there. Good shot. Wins the 7th game. I know a lot has been said about the importance of the 7th game in the past few commentaries. And, yeah, but exactly, Noah. Noah just saying the 8th game is huge, and I do agree. Each game seems to grow in importance as the match progresses, so... Ooh, very tough to react to that shot. Whether to move the feet and go forehand or turn the body and go backhand. And there's a hazard. Probably smart from Robert.
2 chases.
Yeah, and I feel a little momentum for Robert here. Noah, do you think that? Do you think that's true? Do you think there is a bit of momentum in Robert's favor at this point?
I think there definitely is some momentum. He's been hitting targets fantastically well the last 2 games, so I think that's gonna help him finish out this set and match.
Lost the chase.
Freddie seems to be hitting a little bit loose, maybe a little bit tired, or Rob could be in his head. I'm not sure. Unbelievable ball. Yeah. 40 love, 4-3, go up 5-3.
40
could be definitive.
Yeah, I don't think anyone's getting in Freddie's head here, but just Robert kind of showing up with his play. Went for the gallery, hits the bando. It's a pretty big bando, I gotta say. Ooh, just missing the grill. Freddie again for the gallery. Smart. Gets back on the serve again. Really needed that. 40 love down. Yeah, disrupting the rhythm of Robert there. And this is really heating up here, Noah. I mean, what can we say? I think Freddie's going to give just about everything he's got in these last few games. Robert much the same. But which player has the minerals?
You know, I've said from the start that I thought Shenkman would win in the set,
receiver.
but I did edit that statement. Freddie can pull it out. I think it's tough to say. You never know. Freddie has that ability to just turn it on and hit targets at will. So Go down here.
15-40.
Unless he can pull this game out. Still would definitely not count him out.
Yeah, Freddie staying alive in this game with that really good get, forcing Shenkman to play another ball. Second serve. Post. Beautiful get. Just about as good as you can do from there. What does he do with his backhand? Goes for the boast. Robert a volley. Another volley. Off the back. Goes for the grill. Tough ball. Oh my gosh. Freddie just staying down through those shots. Beautiful commitment. Gets the result. 30-40. He'll be looking for this point. Yeah, absolutely, Noah. We could see a swing. Oh, and he goes for it. Okay. Oh, and he did get it. Oh, my God, and we've heard a blast of the gong. Direct hit. That's not the side you want to hit the gong from, I must say. You know, I think Mary Livingston's eardrum just burst. Smart play in the last gallery, getting back on that serving end. Ooh. Better than 3. Wow. Pretty impressive of Freddie to get back to 40 all from 40 love down, but I think that also just displays the importance of the serving end and what that can give to the players. These are 2 tough chases here.
Juice chase last gallery.
Yeah, last gallery first. If Freddie can win that, it will be huge. Low toss there and right into the first gallery. Second serve probably going to go for the wide bobble. What does Freddie do here? Cup volley, beautiful cup volley. Great get. Oh, he'll be kicking himself for that miss. Better than 3. Yeah, here we go. Test the stones. Oh, just missed it wide. 5-3. Freddie's back against the wall. Can he get back on the serving end and change things around? I think he can. Loose there from Freddie. Main wall. Yeah, you're not going to get that back on this court. Yeah, it is a big first point there, Noah. Double uh-oh. Come on, Freddie. Just a smart play from Shenkman, going right back to that timbre. 3 match points for him here. Yeah, good correction from Ryan there. Championship points, shall we say. Yeah, and a prideful scream from Robert Shenkman. Gutsy performance there from Shenkman. Freddie just so close, but you know, all the work that Robert has put in the past year really paying off. You know, just a guy that's made the effort. He came over here from England. Not another player did that, and it paid off. I'm very, very happy for him winning this year's U.S. Amateur.
Yep, I think he definitely deserved it. Well said, Henry. Thanks for tuning in with us. Congratulations to Rob Shenkman, and we hope you tune into the doubles coming up next. Thank you.
Over and out.